could ask our next contestant to come out the front. Our next contestant is Paul Marnie. The Power of the Pooch. The Power of the Pooch. Paul Marnie.
Mr. Contest Chair, guests, distinguished guests, fellow Toastmasters. I'm here to talk to you tonight about the power that can be derived from owning a dog. And to help us explore that topic, I've handed around a number of envelopes which I request that you delay opening until I ask you to during my presentation. And if you don't have one, could you please share with the person next to you? Or if you don't have one near you, let me know now and I've got some spares. Okay, so we're all okay? I am tough. T-U-F-F, tough. And intelligent, because as you can see, I know how to spell. There's two F's, not one. But tonight, I'm not talking about intelligence, I'm talking about the tough aspects of my character. And it's not just my bodybuilder's physique. Although I admit that does play a part. It's not the constant scowl that I have on my face. No, it's much more than those things. It's the way I think. It's the way I look at the world. And I think that has a lot to do with the era in which I grew up. You see, I was a child in the 60s and a teenager in the 70s. And I remember that great Australian documentary called The Adventures of Barry Mackenzie. And you'll learn from that documentary about, for example, the signs that we used to have on beaches in Australia, which said things like, "Please report shark bite." Can you imagine it? Shark bite? Get off, get out of here. I'm not going to report that. We're not Nancy boys around here. We're tough. I'm tough. Now, one way to enhance your toughness is to buy a tough dog. A mean, vicious, ferocious dog. And to help demonstrate what I'm talking about, I invite you to open envelope number 1. It becomes self-evident, You can see what I'm talking about. Now, power doesn't just come from being mean and ferocious. Because my dog, named Bubbles, even the name is frightening. Please don't panic, she's not here tonight. She's not here tonight, so don't worry. But she's a female, obviously. And we all know that females have a certain power over males through the way they dress, the makeup and perfume they wear. And to demonstrate this, I invite you to open envelope number 2, where there are 2 photographs. Notice the cheap collar, the exclusive bone design. Notice the pocket, the perfect size for lipstick and mobile phone. Now, when Bubbles decides to dress up like that for a walk, I'm not going to be left out. I go to my wardrobe and I get a suit for our walk that day. But not just any old suit. I go to the wardrobe and I pull out the most exclusive label in the world. You must know it. It was created by my distant relative back in County Cork in Ireland. You must know it. It's the Omani label. We dropped the O many years ago, but my cousins in Ireland kept it. So I put on my Omani suit, and Bubbles and I walk along in my suit and her jacket. And we exude charisma. And power comes from charisma as well. But it's much more than just dressing and ferociousness. It's also the intellect of a dog. You may not realise that dogs are smart. They're smarter than us. Let me ask you, who walks out the door and goes to work every day? Who gets to lie around in the sun doing nothing all day? They've got us wrapped around their paw. Let's face it. We know this. And I learned many years ago that Melbourne University are researching the intelligence of dogs versus humans. So I contacted them, I rang up. And I offered drones stuck to our heads, answering questions. And after many months, where the research was completed, analysed, and the university wrote to me. They said, "Dear Mr. Marnie, thanks for participating with yourself and Bubbles in our research. To help explain it in the most simple and therefore most appropriate terms in your case, the results, we decided to show images of one of the photographs you gave us. And I invite you to open envelope number 3 to see the results of that research." Now this was most unfortunate in my view, but that was the result. That was what they told me. It's a result. So Bubbles came through with flying colours. They sent her a 300-page report to analyse to see the results in her case. So that was fine. So ladies and gentlemen, in summary, power from dogs comes through the nature of the dog. Is it mean? Is it tough? Is it vicious? It comes through the way they dress. And it comes through their intellect. But I did mention earlier about my bodybuilding physique, and I said that wasn't everything in my case. But